Back in the 1980s dinosaur era, and absolutely, I would drive the DJs nuts by bringing my cassette tapes. They would see me and flee because I was unrelenting. Recently, a private letter from the 1990s came up for auction. Madonna expressed harsh things about two of Hollywood's greatest stars inside. "I'd rather die than be like them," she remarked. However, that letter was only the first step. Madonna is disclosing decades of unspoken conflicts, stolen songs, and betrayals behind the scenes. At the age of 66, she should be shot. According to a musician who accused her of she was fired by another since middle school. The retaliation has been planned for decades. Madonna is finally prepared to settle all the scores. On August 16, 1958, Madonna was born in Bay City, Michigan. However, she was raised in the Detroit suburb of Rochester Hills. Silvio Ciccone, her father, was employed at Chrysler as a design engineer. Madonna Fortin, her mother, reared the children at home. Madonna's mother passed away from breast cancer when she was just 5 years old. She was only 30. The loss was severe and affected Madonna for the rest of her life. She then claimed that it made her feel isolated and motivated her to live through everything. It also caused her to doubt authority, particularly the rigid Catholic laws she was raised with. She previously described herself as a lonely girl in search of something. But through dancing, she began to liberate herself. Her skill at Rochester Adams High School was evident. At the age of 14, she began ballet and received instruction from Christopher Flynn, who later served as her mentor. By the age of 16, she was taking center stage in school productions. She received a scholarship to study dance at the University of Michigan. However, she felt that college was insufficient. With just $35, she packed a suitcase and came to New York City in 1978 at the age of 19. Later on, she claimed that it was the most courageous thing she had ever done. She took on a variety of jobs to make ends meet. She was fired after squirting a customer with jelly while serving donuts at Dunkin' Donuts in Times Square. For $10 an hour, she posed naked for school art students. Later, publications like Playboy and Penthouse sold those pictures. Madonna was unconcerned. "I have nothing to be ashamed of," she replied. She also performed in local performances with Dan Gilroy and danced as a backup for performers like Patrick Hernandez. Her motto was straightforward. Whatever it took, she would do it. People saw that she practiced for hours without eating. She was always the last to depart and the first to come. In 1979, she became a member of the band Breakfast Club. A drummer first, then a singer. She wanted control. Though, together with her partner Stephen Bray, she formed her own band, Emmy and the Emmys. They performed at modest places such as the Mud Club and CBGB. She performed while wearing lingerie and fished. Rumors circulated about her irrational actions. However, it was all planned. She wanted attention. She desired notoriety. She refused to be ignored, spoke with DJs, and distributed demo recordings. She first met DJ Mark Cammons in the New York nightclub Danchinja in 1982. "Please play her demo," she pleaded. The audience adored it. She met Sire Records, Seymour Stein, thanks to Cammons. At the time, Stein was in the hospital. Madonna was unconcerned. She entered his hospital room and offered herself in whatever manner she could. It was successful. She was signed by him. Everybody, her debut single, was released in October 1982. It rose to number 3 on the dance charts and became a club success. Oddly, her photo wasn't on the cover. Although some believed she was black, it made no difference. She was on The Rise. Her first album was released on July 27, 1983. Madonna was the name of it. The procedure was not simple. She wasn't in the studio all the time. Even though she wasn't always taken seriously by producers, the music nevertheless had her sound. Bold, entertaining, and vivacious. The third single, Holiday, was made available. It peaked at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming her first major hit. Next was Borderline, which debuted in the top 10 in February 1984. She went from clubs to the mainstream thanks to these songs. They altered the pop sound. They offered MTV a fresh face and encouraged young ladies to assume leadership roles. Then came the 1984 MTV Video Music Awards, which were the event that made all the difference. On top of a massive cake, Madonna gave a virginal performance while wearing a bridal gown. Her initial plan was to utilize a real tiger, but it was her shoe fell off as she was performing. She rolled on the ground rather than freaking out. She flipped her skirt. Her panties were exposed. Millions of people watched. It turned into a scandal. According to Annie Lennox, it was quite whorish. Although her management believed her career was ended, it wasn't. It was only getting started. That evening made her a celebrity. The VMAs would never be the same after that. Madonna wouldn't either. On November 12, 1984, her second album, Like a Virgin, was released. Not only did it sell well, but it also set records. By February 1985, it had risen to the top of the charts from its debut at number 70. It sold 3.5 million copies in 14 weeks. In the US alone, it finally reached 10 million. She was the first female to accomplish that. People were stunned by the music. The lyrics were audacious. The church was offended by the religious pictures. Madonna, however, refused to back down. She persisted in pushing. She continued to be difficult. She grew larger as more individuals voiced their complaints. Madonna startled everyone by releasing a music video in March 1989. In 4 minutes of striking imagery, like a prayer, directly challenged sexual conventions, racial issues, and religion. She kissed a black saint, danced in front of burning crosses, and made an appearance at a church. It became even more contentious because of the timing. Only a few weeks before Easter, it was released. Blasphemy was the Vatican's term for it. Protests were started by family organizations and religious groups. Pepsi was in the midst of the commotion. In the hopes of using the song in their advertising campaign, they had recently inked a $5 million deal with Madonna. Pepsi removed the advertisement in response to the criticism, but Madonna kept the money. The video was outright prohibited in some nations. Italy threatened to postpone her performances, but that didn't stop her. Instead, Madonna became even more well-known. After the song became the global #1, it was one of the most daring moments in pop music history, fusing sexuality, religion, and race in a way that had never been done before. Madonna advocated for the rights of LGBTQ people long before it became popular. She did a long interview with the national homosexual magazine, The Advocate, in 1991. Few famous people would have taken that chance in the past, particularly during the AIDS epidemic. Madonna, however, didn't mince words. According to her, the worst thing that has happened to the world since Hitler is AIDS. Just that line garnered media attention. She continued to speak. Years before many others, she advocated for transgender rights, adoption, and homosexual marriage. She received an award from GLAAD in 2019 for being a genuine change agent. Her activism did not, however, come without a price. Strict anti-gay laws in Russia led to her being sued. Religious authorities frequently criticized her, accusing her of fusing sacred symbolism with LGBT culture. She never stopped, though she still exhorts her followers to continue advocating for LGBTQ+ rights. Her voice contributed to the mainstreaming of these subjects. She contributed to changing pop culture in addition to helping the community. Rules have never really appealed to Madonna. She attended a showing of 12 Years, a Slave at a New York film festival in 2013. She continued texting rather than silently observing. She was barred from all of the Alamo Drafthouse movie theaters following many complaints. Their CEO said she was prohibited until she apologized in an online message. This was only one instance. She never did. Madonna has been criticized for defying convention throughout her career. She released a book full of provocative photographs, spoke candidly about subjects that many shunned, and wore daring clothing with religious connotations. She questioned the double standards in the media and the way society treated women. She was both praised and ridiculed for her concerts that challenged convention and her refusal to play it safe. She refused to fit into any molds. She didn't just break them. Madonna starred in a movie that revolutionized the world in 1985. The success of Desperately Seeking Susan was unexpected. It generated more than $1.5 million its first weekend after opening in 268 locations. It was one of the year's top pictures in the U.S., grossing close to $27.4 million. Critics also enjoyed it. 86% of reviews on Rotten Tomatoes were favorable. She was referred to as a goddess by Pauline Kael. It was even regarded by some as her best acting role. However, things took a turn for the worst. Body of Evidence, Who's That Girl, and Shanghai Surprise all failed. They were criticized by critics, and she received numerous nominations for Worst Actress. Then, everything changed once more in 1996. In Evita, Madonna played Eva Perón at the box office. It brought in over $141 million, or over $283 million today, making it a worldwide hit. She took home the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a comedy or musical, with 85 total wardrobe changes including 39 headgear and 56 pairs of earrings. She also set a new world record for the most costume changes in a single movie. It was one of the few occasions when critics commended her acting and marked a significant comeback. On August 16, 1985, Madonna's 27th birthday and Sean Penn's 25th, they were married. While filming her Material Girl video earlier that year, they had met. Reporters watched from boats and helicopters flew overhead throughout the wedding, which was a media event. There was a lot of drama in their marriage from the beginning. They encountered fighting, gossip, and mayhem everywhere they went. Penn has a notoriously bad temper. He frequently snapped at cameras. Madonna filed for divorce in 1987 but swiftly revoked it. She filed once more in 1989, this time permanently. She also disclosed that she had filed a report against him for assault at that time. Rumors circulated years later that Penn had physically assaulted and bound her. However, Madonna vehemently refuted those allegations. She claimed they were damaging and untrue. Their marriage became one of the most talked-about partnerships of the decade, despite the rumors and the unsuccessful movie Shanghai Surprise. Following her breakup with Penn, Madonna's romantic life was frequently in the news. She started dating Warren Beatty in 1990 while they were filming Dick Tracy. He was 21 years her senior. They had a passionate and well-publicized romance. Beatty made fun of the fact that she had to perform all the time in her documentary, Truth or Dare. Although their romance ended, it had tremendous impact. Dennis Rodman followed in 1994. She was Pop's rebel, and he was the wild kid of the NBA. According to Rodman's later claims, she gave him $20 million if he could conceive her. Their time together was short, peculiar, and widely reported. Madonna had dated Vanilla Ice prior to then. She reversed the positions and proposed to him. However, their connection ended when he was featured in her book Sex Without His Consent. He was deceived. Then there were John F. Kennedy Jr. rumors. They had a covert affair at Hyannis Port. According to some, his childhood moniker was etched on the cups they used to sip their beverages. The anecdote became part of her folklore, but no one ever verified it. In October 1996, Madonna gave birth to her first child. At a Los Angeles hospital, she gave birth to her daughter, Lourdes Maria Ciccone Leon. Carlos Leon, Madonna's personal trainer, was the baby's father. Lourdes weighed 6 pounds, 9 ounces. The cameras never stopped recording her birth. The hospital was swarmed by paparazzi. Reporters conjectured about everything, even the baby's birth and Madonna's parenting style, but she remained secretive. According to her spokeswoman, no information will be disclosed. The birth altered Madonna's reputation. She had evolved beyond being a rebellious pop diva. Now that she was a mother, she was constantly being watched. Growing up in the spotlight, Lourdes went on to pursue a career as a singer and model. However, Madonna put a lot of effort into shielding her from excessive celebrity because she understood how debilitating it could be. Madonna frequently had disagreements with her co-workers. Behind the scenes, she was known for being rough on movie sets. She desired artistic control over her appearance and the promotion of her art. She expected perfection from Evita. She demanded particular methods of filming and requested 85 wardrobe changes. Their relationship, according to director Alan Parker, was contentious yet fruitful. The film received accolades, and Madonna's performance received high appreciation. There were tense moments even with co-stars like Warren Beatty. Beatty ridiculed her insistence on being on camera all the time. Madonna, however, was unconcerned. She pointed out the unfair treatment. She previously claimed that she would be referred to as assertive if she were a man. But she was called difficult because she was a woman. Although many in Hollywood were offended by her attitude, it also allowed her to survive in a society that frequently attempted to quiet women. In the 2000s, Madonna's life unfolded as a succession of conflicts. Her dream wedding to Guy Ritchie in December 2000 was the start of it all. The event at Skybow Castle resembled a scene from a motion picture. After the birth of their son Rocco, everything initially appeared to be ideal. However, that flawless image began to crumble. They got divorced in 2008. It wasn't a quiet split. A protracted, acrimonious argument over Rocco resulted. At the age of 15, Rocco declined to take a plane back to New York in 2016. He and his father remained in London. Both nations' judges urged them to reach a peaceful resolution. They didn't. Every action and legal turn was observed by the public. What ought to have remained a private problem went viral. Meanwhile, Madonna's family continued to expand. However, her expansion caused indignation. She attempted to adopt David, a young child from Malawi, in 2006. She made another attempt in 2009 with a child named Mercy, but the Malawian courts rejected it. They claimed that Madonna had not spent enough time in the country. Some referred to it as celebrity privilege. Others brought up the amount of money she had donated to the local hospitals and schools. She persisted. She won because she was appealing. People still wondered why she did it. She adopted twin children from Malawi in 2017. She was asked difficult questions by a judge. It was described as uncomfortable by the media. The public remained split. Kindness was seen by some, others witnessed the misuse of power. However, Madonna wasn't merely grabbing media attention in court. She was creating a reputation. She and her daughter Lourdes started a clothes company in 2010. It was titled after her well-known song, Material Girl. At its launch, Macy's drew large crowds, but the company immediately encountered difficulties.